War Room Nation, what's up? This is Akil Bayon representing War Room Sports, and today you're about to watch episode 180, where we'll cover all the latest NFL and NBA action, especially the Christmas Day games. We'll also talk to Fred Perdue. He'll cover the bowl games for us with NCAA college football, and we'll also talk about how we beat ranked top 5 sports in our wager every time the Philadelphia Eagles face off against the Chicago Bears. And as you know, me as a Cowboys fan, I even had to say, man, that was a bad beating that the Eagles gave the Bears. Check us out. Peace.
She's a liar.
Blog Talk Radio.
Let's go.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sort of like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th saw the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Yes, sir. What up, sports fanatics? And for all of you people out there who celebrate, we hope you had a Merry Christmas. Welcome back to another edition of your favorite show. You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm joined by the homies, Jimmy the Blueprint Williams. We got Akil Doc Bayon in the building tonight. We got B. Austin. We hope your holidays are going as planned, but it's time to hear the general speak. We got a great show for you today. The final week of the NFL season is here. And, you know, we got a few do-or-die scenarios to discuss. But before we do, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports to get into the conversations. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012, and we'll open that up in about 30 minutes. Also, every week, make sure you check out our partners, Roy and Chris on the Broad Street line. They're on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. And check the listings for Brandon and Daniel Sports Trap Radio. They're now on the iHeartRadio network. In addition to catching us live, don't forget to catch us in syndication 3 times on Fridays on NewVibeRadio.com at 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Times on FatsRadio.com. Fellas, Feliz Navidad. What's going on?
You know, man, it's trying to, stay out of trouble. Snap necks and cash large checks.
No doubt.
Fat dude tried to come down my chimney. I shot him.
He was the one who caused the log jam and the whole Santa Claus operation.
But I got a question for you, Austin, and this is a serious question, right? Because it's been speculation. Was he white?
I couldn't tell because he had a lot of soot on his face. So I don't know whether he was a white man or a black man.
So you weren't curious. You just left him there with the dirt on his face.
Yeah, usually people don't try and come in my crib through the chimney, so I was shooting and asking questions later.
No doubt.
I feel bad about it.
I feel you. Kill, what's going on down there in the southern parts in Dallas? Was it cold at least? I know it's been like snowing in Dallas the last few years. Did y'all get any cold weather?
Well, it's been like 48. I know the last Christmas was actually a white Christmas where we had snow and things were shut down, but this Christmas was 48 and windy, so I mean it was cool. It was good to have the day off and just celebrate,
White Christmas, white Santa, all that. All that. All right, so let's jump into the rundown a little bit and talk about what happened this week while everybody was on the grind, or while y'all was doing last-minute shopping for the holidays. Of course, while you were on the grind is brought to you by DirecTV. Be like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, which includes that NFL Sunday ticket, which you'll have to get for next year, since this is the last week of the season. Go to our website, warroomsports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, order yourself a better TV experience through DirecTV, and make sure you get that discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, then you got to have DirecTV. All right, what's going on this week? J.J. Watt, defensive end, Houston Texans. You guys remember earlier in the season when his nose was leaking in that game, he had to get like 6 stitches at halftime, but every week he came back, the sore kept opening back up, so it's like every game you see J.J. Watt, he got blood running down his face to his mouth. It's real nasty. But his mom said she really doesn't like the scar that it left, so he's considering plastic surgery. We've talked about plastic surgery in the pop culture, but, for something like this, do you guys look at it, as being an okay time to mess with God's creation?
No, man. Here's why. Cause
go ahead, Jimmy.
I'm just saying. Listen, man. Everybody who gets plastic surgery looks like Lil' Kim. All of them. So whether you talking about Tamar, whether you talking about Michael Jackson, they all look the same. Like, is there like one formula to cutting someone's face? Because
but they're all trying to make like enhancements and stuff. I think he just want to cover up this scar, so maybe he won't go that far. Unless you get a little prima donna.
It always started with one. It always starts with one little thing, though, man. It starts with one little thing,
and then
you're like, the doctor did a really good job on my nose, man. I think I want to make my lips a little bit bigger. I'm like, come on, JJ.
We'll come back looking like Chris Jenner, man.
My answer probably ends up in the same place as you, brother Jimmy. But I have a little bit different take on this. I think that all professional football players, when they're making decisions, particularly about things of this nature, you need to think about what would Ronnie Lott do? What would Jim Brown do?
Ronnie Lott,
what would
that's why Jim Brown sitting there slurring his speech and going at everybody he can. I ain't worried about what them do.
That ain't had nothing to do with plastic surgery, though.
No, just his whole tough demeanor. Because your point was them and being tough. Like, being tough is not really working out for them dudes later on in life. So, I mean, it can start with the plastic surgery. You just can't have their mindset, period, these days. Too much money on the line to have their mindset.
Well, my question is this, though. Like, is it possible for him to get some sort of better protection? Because this isn't the first year. He used to have bloody noses after every game last year. I don't know whether he has, like, a sensitive nose or he's not protecting it with the helmet that he has. Like I don't know what's going on with this gentleman, but something has to be done.
Where I come from,
would you have used that?
If you're consistently getting a bloody nose, that means, away from the game, you may be engaging in some other activity.
Whoa.
Yeah, but the blood coming out the bridge of his nose.
Shout out to
blood coming out the bridge of your nose. What kind of coke he sniffing?
Shout out to Lawrence Taylor, man.
Hey, but B. Austin, would you have used that same advice with Reggie Miller during his playing career? Like, he should have got his teeth fixed. I don't care what he do for a living.
I think
I'm sure the
Reggie
NBA
Miller,
got a dental plan that was, commensurate with looking better than what he.
Reggie needed a face transplant, though, because fixing his teeth wouldn't have made him not. He still wasn't a pretty child, to quote one Charles Barkley. So,
if you want to know what he looked like with pretty teeth, look at his sister. But at the same time, he could have done something. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. Like, come on, you make all that money. I'm pretty sure the NBA has a nice dental program. As many people who lose teeth during games and then they got their teeth back, like the next day. Yeah. Come on, Reggie. That was a choice.
Gilbert Arenas got a whole grill from when he came into the league to after he signed his $100 million deal. But in the Watt case, I think this is more so like, when somebody gets into an accident and then they have disfiguration, then they bring in the plastic surgeons to fix them up. I would put this more along the lines of that as opposed to, a celebrity.
Like a vanity thing. Yeah. I see. I understand.
I just think he could protect himself. I mean, I understand the situation. Something has to be done because our key always is bleeding. But at the same time, man, like, once you start, from what I see, I'm telling you, like, they all look alike. They all look like brothers and sisters, man.
Maybe he's not a vain guy, so maybe he just, maybe he just try to please his mama. But then his mama might come to him with suggestions. If you do this, you might look a little like Frank Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra.
Tell me Tamar's face ain't a wreck, y'all.
Who, Tamar?
Yeah, Tamar's face a wreck, y'all.
Yeah, it looked like her and Little
She's
Kim.
taking it too far. It
looked like they shoot like sand into their cheekbones or something. Like I don't know.
I don't understand it though, because both of those girls are like naturally cute. Like Lil Kim, that's all she really had going for back in the day was her face. And maybe, a little bit of backside. All she needed was a boob job. That's all she needed was a boob job. She didn't went too far. Yeah. Now she looked like she looked like one of those Muppets that's in the band on the Muppet Show.
No, she looked like Little Piggy.
Yo, she look a hot ass mess. It's terrible, man. Like she ruined everything. Y'all don't hear nothing from her. I don't even want to see her again in life. Like she needs to disappear at this point. And it's terrible because I ain't gonna front. I had the poster, and everybody know what poster I'm talking about.
Yeah. Sophomore year, I had that up. I had that.
That poster.
All right. But around the NFL, Terrell Pryor's agent kind of went on a little rant, thinking or saying out loud, out in public, that the Raiders want Terrell Pryor to fail. Now he's saying this because they're starting him in Week 17. So I don't really understand that logic. They're starting him in Week 17. McGloin had come in and given the team a little bit of a spark. They're going to Pryor this week, and the agent feels that it's a setup and they want him to play badly. I don't really understand because Terrell Pryor had like his second passing performance, statistically against the Denver Broncos earlier, and now the Broncos are a little more ravaged with injury, and so how would this be a setup? I don't get it. And the Broncos have absolutely nothing to play for right now because they locked up the division. Well, they may have to get that number one
gentlemen,
seed all
first
through.
off, I just got to say this before any of y'all give your thoughts. I think we have our first nominee. Should be ashamed of yourself.
Yo.
We can vote later to see who wins the JoJo Award, but we have our first nominee.
Do it in the game.
And I completely agree, and I can explain to you exactly how and why Terrell Pryor's agent is a JoJo. But go ahead.
All I'm saying is we have our first contestant because at the end of the day, you could look at it as them giving him an opportunity to show what he can do as opposed to taking a negative. The only thing I can say in his defense is there may be more to the story, but if that's the case, you can't just leave us with what you said for everybody else to come to the same conclusion as you.
This is a case of black protectionism. Yet again, I have to say that this is B. Austin speaking, and my viewpoint does not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of the gentleman on this show, nor the position of War Room Sports. This is a classic example of black protectionism.
So his agent must be black. Is his agent black?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't understand. I don't understand what it is. Like I don't understand what it could be. Because how does playing him
Matt McGloin
set him up for failure?
Matt McGloin.
I mean, the agent must think he's trash.
Well,
exactly.
Matt McGloin
Don't play
came in. They still lost. They were still losing, even though Matt McGloin, kind of ran the offense a little bit more efficiently. Now, Deb, you've seen Terrell Pryor play live.
Yeah.
You peeped how he kind of his whole twist to running the quarterback position. Matt McGloin came in more of a drop back, pass, spread the rock around, decision maker dude. They feel as though because Terrell Pryor was healthy, Matt McGloin has played like 6 games. Terrell Pryor was healthy 2-3 weeks ago, and they didn't give him the keys to the vehicle. Now he's saying, you're giving me the keys to the vehicle the last game of the season where we're obviously going to get bludgeoned by Denver. Why would you put my client in this position? He should have been starting, and he's done enough to show you that he's a starting QB in the NFL. I'm speculating here, but that's what I believe the agent's position is. He should have been starting now.
I'm just trying to see what the black protection is. I mean, you said he's a black guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You let the white guy run. You let the white guy get the run. You let Matt McGloin get all of this run. You gave him 6 games where my client could have been playing out, the remainder of the season, getting his reps in.
We all know you really got to be black to do that anyway. But My thing is this. I think any opportunity he can get to go out there and show what he can do, his agent should be happy about that. Like, what does he feel that Terrell Pryor has proven that he doesn't need to play in order to be? What they're saying is we're evaluating him to see if we want to move forward with him being our quarterback in 2014.
Excitement.
So I don't get it. But they said the problem was, they said what the problem was is when the team started they started defending him better against the run, and he started having trouble actually reading defenses once they started to shut the run down a little bit. So they're giving him an opportunity to go out there and do it. Like, I don't understand why this isn't a good thing, but I don't know.
Listen, man, all I'm saying is, he's getting an opportunity to play. Everybody wants to have more reps. I don't know the guy, but I assume he is black because his name is Jerome, and I've never met a white Jerome as long as I live. So, do any of you guys know anybody white named Jerome? Like, that's just one of those names where,
Jimmy, his name, his government name is W. Jerome. He goes by W. Jerome Stanley, president of.
Yeah, he's definitely African American.
Willie Jerome.
Willie Jerome.
Anybody listening, send it to us on Twitter, Facebook. Does anybody know anyone from the Caucasus Mountains whose name is Jerome? Because there is no white guy named Jerome alive. I want to find a white Jerome because I don't believe they exist. With that being said, though, I just think it's a bad way to look at it. Unless he has more information and something that he knows that we don't know. But if that is the case, you can't say what you said and expect to get anyone on your side.
Well,
can I tell y'all something real quick? As soon as Jimmy said that, I put in white guys named Jerome, and it finished it for me. It said, "Are there any white guys named Jerome?" So people have already asked this question. But go ahead, B. Austin. I just wanted to let y'all know that. Like we're not the only ones.
I'm about to put that as a question to our Facebook page. Does anybody know a white guy named Jerome?
The pieces of the puzzle are here, like you said. They started defending the run a little better. McGloin has played 6 games, or is it 5? I think it's 6 games. He's played 6 games because he's 1-5. Terrell Pryor was healthy from this injury 3 weeks ago, and they didn't put him back in. So now the feeling is that to put him back in when they won some games or met with some success under Terrell Pryor, and let's face it, we live in the ESPN Sports Center generation. Terrell is a sensational player. He's a sensational athlete. His agent is taking a position like the Raiders are jerking him. He should have been back under center starting.
I think the unfortunate thing is that if you're a player, you want to show what you can at any given time, especially if you're a player that, feels as though you want to make a name for yourself. So I would have to disagree with the agent. I mean, the name is Safe Sports Management, so maybe he wants to play it as safe as he possibly can. And maybe he feels as though Terrell Pryor isn't really that good since he's been figured out. So therefore, let's get him out into the next off season and he can prove on his mistakes. But if that's the case, you're just saying that you don't have faith that your client can play a good game.
Right.
No, I mean,
you got quarterbacks out here who are upset because they can't play. This dude's agent, no, don't put him out there. I don't get it.
With that being said, I think it needs to be said that Terrell Pryor didn't say this, nor did he agree with it. He wants to play. He
Terrell, he apologized.
Via Twitter, he apologized. He said, I quote, "I apologize for the recent comments towards the Raiders organization. That's not what I'm about. I'm thankful for this opportunity given to me by this great organization and the phenomenal fans. I'm very excited to play with my teammates Sunday. We hope to make you fans proud." That's not really possible, but I like the way he went with it. You can't be proud after this season, but just because you win the last game. But, that's the Terrell Pryor news for the week. 30 people were arrested at the Candlestick Park finale. I don't understand, what was going on because they're not really releasing information on what each person was arrested for, but there's a lot of speculation that there was a lot of suspicion of people trying to steal seats from the stadium. And then they said in addition to the arrest, 81 people were ejected and 7 people were cited. So this game seemed like it ended in a frenzy by the fans, playing their last game.
Trying to take home a piece of history.
Yeah, it was that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up the fact that outside of the arrest, there were 81 people ejected. So it seemed to be chaos.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on?
When you look at what goes on in Candlestick on a week-to-week basis, it's kind of always crazy. It just doesn't get brought up as much as, say, throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, which they just brought up on Sunday night, by the way. Did you see that?
40 years ago? Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
I don't understand it, man.
Austin is just shy of Santa Claus, and they still talking about something 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
this boy tried to kill him, and they talking about
and I'm not gonna receive any problems for it unless they find out I'm an Eagles fan.
The thing is,
I dry snitch.
Candlestick is out of control anyway, man. It always has been, man. But it just never gets mentioned. It's one of those things. That's not the narrative they want to tell at San Fran. It's supposed to be easygoing, nice weather,
Yeah. The San Fran
a lot of people just went out there like to be misfits that night. I don't get it.
I mean, no, but what I'm saying is if you actually look week to week, it's always like this. I mean, maybe not to the extent where it's 81 people like dismissed, but it's always trouble in San Fran. I mean, there's certain stadiums in Houston, they always have issues with people getting arrested, but it's not the story they want to tell when it comes to those cities. Now, maybe I'm sensitive to it living in Philadelphia, but it's more to it than that. Like,
they've been having a lot of brawls. Isn't that where they sent the guy to the hospital and he was unconscious? Didn't that happen in San Francisco?
I know it definitely was a Giants versus Dodgers game, so I think it was.
I think it was
San Francisco. In San Francisco, and the Dodger fan, was in the parking lot, and they beat him within inches of his life. So it's like that. It definitely go down like that.
You think San Fran is a soft city, but then in a laid-back city, wealthy city, then all of a sudden you hear these events, and you're like, whoa.
You know what I mean? I don't want to get people mad, but I'm going to. It'd be them Latinos. I'm never trying to be funny, even though I'm laughing myself. But y'all know I've been to a lot of these stadiums and stuff around the country. These dudes got love for their teams that it transcends just normal ha trash talking type stuff. Like, we've been in plenty of situations where they wanted to go at us. Like, yo, I didn't do anything to you. My team just won. That's not my fault.
Real quick, guys.
Those were they were out there burning jerseys in Houston, like Jimmy said.
No, I was saying, real quick, shout out to our listeners. We got somebody chiming in the chat room. Skyview Kevin, who happens to be a Raiders fan, by the way. Sorry to hear that. Points out that Jerry Seinfeld's real name is Jerome. His name is Jerome Allen Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of the show, and Elaine calls him Jerome all the time.
That's a white guy named Jerome, and it's actually one of my
you see what he goes by, though. He tried to distance himself from that.
He steps away from Jerome.
And he's Jewish.
It's a good catch. It's a good catch. I didn't even think about that, but Jerry Seinfeld.
You may be onto something, Dev, with the the passion that the Latino segment of NFL fans show. It's kind of it parallels the other football in the world. We don't hear much about their fans because we're not necessarily in that lane or segment. But the Caribbean and
might
South
be a little
American
more
football fan, they get it in. They get it in for their team.
A couple weeks ago, there was brawls at a soccer stadium. Like a plane had crashed in the field. They straight moved and kept the game going. like soccer matches is completely out of control, Like it's all
let's just run around that big ass ditch that the plane just left. Just run around the smoke and the fire.
And if you don't continue the game, guess where y'all gonna get buried at?
In that plane ditch. All right, listen to this, man. Out in Hawaii, because Boise State was out there for the Hawaii Bowl. Now, their quarterback, Joe Southwick, was actually sent home because he was accused of urinating off of his hotel balcony. He claims that it wasn't him. He said he was out the night before. He came back, heard about it, went to bed, and didn't even realize that he was being accused until he woke up the next morning. They asked him to leave. They took him to the airport. His flight didn't leave for another 9 hours, so he had to sit around the airport for 9 hours waiting on a flight for something supposedly that he didn't do. And, they just shook his hand, thanked him for everything, and sent him back to Boise. Now, when he got back to school, he took a polygraph test, and he keeps trying to get the school to look at the results of that to try to clear his name, because at this point it's not really about the game. It's trying to clear his name because that is like some egregious crime that he was.
Is this the starting quarterback?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Joe Southwick, senior starting quarterback.
He started, but then he got hurt, and then he missed about 5 games, and then came back as the starter. So they sent him home before the bowl game.
Speaking of Seinfeld, maybe he had to do it. You know what I mean? He might got Euromycetitis poisoning and died, so he got to go.
What's interesting to me
I definitely don't want to incriminate myself, but I would just say at his age, it ain't surprising that he, had a couple and bladder control was a question, and he couldn't make it to or maybe he saw one of the opponents.
Right, these little college kids. He wasn't trying to make it to the bathroom. They was like, let me see who I can leak on.
Funny
we see how far it'll go.
Here's what I find interesting about the whole story. Is the fact that he decided they gave him a polygraph, and he passed the polygraph saying that he just, heard about it and it wasn't him. Yet they still sent his ass home. But he took the polygraph.
Well, they say he took it once he got back there, though. So, but they still won't listen to him. Like, he's trying to clear his name, and they like,
there's more. There's more to this story because the team wouldn't have sent their starting quarterback home if they didn't really have something on him in favor of him actually doing it.
Well, he said he didn't say who it was, but he was like it was 3 against 1. When they were sitting there talking about it, he was being accused, and he said he had his temper, he kind of flew off the hook. So maybe he looked guilty with how he acted, or maybe he didn't look guilty. Maybe whatever he said while he was upset, maybe that had something to do with him being sent home, because he did kind of admit that he flew off the hook, and it may have looked bad. So that probably had something to do with the ultimate decision to send him home. But he probably, if he really didn't do it, he probably knows who did it, but doesn't want to be the snitch. But, at some point, this is like one of those nasty things. Like, you don't want this out there if you didn't really do that. So, you're going to have to say something eventually. What would you guys do in that situation if you really didn't do it, and you know who did? Would you keep it to yourself?
Shout out to my man Najee Davenport, former Green Bay running back. Dad, you know why.
At least he do it in hampers and closets. You don't be out on
they put that on me. Like, hold up. So if some of the teammates came and said, "Yeah, Chill did it," and I'm like, in my mind, I know who did it. I'm be like, "Nah, he did it. Forget that."
He'll gonna line the team up like, "Yo, let's sort this out right now. Who did it?" All right, so you guys out there in the chat room and Facebook, Twitter, tell us what you would do if you really didn't do something like this and you know who did. Would you snitch, or would you just take one for the team like he might be doing? It's kind of nasty. But
I definitely want to know what the listeners feel. If somebody accused them of R. Kellying over the balcony, I'd be a little upset.
Make it rain.
Because now in NFL combines, if you go to combines and he sits down,
that's going to be the story.
Oh, mad question.
Can you throw your bladder? What if you have to go to the bathroom during a game? What would you do?
How do you feel about golden showers? How do you feel about golden showers?
All right, everybody. Y'all can definitely check out our website, warroomsports.com. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. Jimmy, you want to tell everybody who's having a birthday real quick before I do that?
You already know. You got to give our birthday shout-outs, gentlemen. This is what we do. And for those who don't know, the birthdays are brought to you by Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates. Shout out to the good Dr. Monique Roll on Christmas Eve. She was holding it down on Facebook answering questions from our community. in reference to the health. But if you want to get in contact with her for the best and comprehensive treatment of injuries to the foot, ankle, and lower extremities, visit Dr. Monique Rowe of APA, that's Alexandria Podiatry Associates, treating patients in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area and beyond. Go to alexandriapodiatry.org or call 703-379-0700. That's 703-379-0700. Don't forget, tell them War Room Sports sent you.
My birthday! Yay!
Birthday shout-outs this week. The first one, Tim Legler, turns 47. Shout out to Tim Legler.
I can't play, but I can talk about everybody.
Hater.
Tim Legler
The hater.
had a mean shot, though. You know what I mean? Anyway, Ozzie Smith turns 59.
Ozzie.
We have Eric Gordon turning 25. Eric Gordon. All right. Air Gordon.
How old are his knees, though?
Shout out to Marty Moore.
Will always hurt.
This is true. We have Sean Andrews turning 31.
Get my Michael Phelps song.
Yo, last but not least, I want to send a birthday shout out to Monica, because if she listens and I don't give her a birthday shout out, I'm going to get my ass cussed out. Her birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Monica.
Happy birthday, Monica.
We'd like to give a nice big warm salute to everyone on their birthday this week. Yo, it must be hard having a birthday week so close to Christmas. Sure, that has to be terrible as a kid, but shout out to y'all anyway.
You get no attention, and you just get mixed up.
My birthday!
Yay!
All right,
before we move
now,
forward, tell everybody to get in touch with us.
Now you guys can check out our website, warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for our newsletter, The War Report. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. You need to do that. We will help your business out. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, just click on everything so you can see and watch, hear, listen, all of that stuff to everything that we do on a daily basis, because we are content providers and we are out on the internet 24/7. Just check us out. While you're listening to the show right now, you can sign into the JW Philly Realty chat room. That's blogtalkradio.com/the war room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, you can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow. Make sure you get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during this show and every other show. To call in and speak with us, just dial the Digital Exchange Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to. We'll try to get to you, see what you got, talk to you, answer your question, tell you you're wrong, whatever we got to do. All right, let's jump into some hot topics real quick, man. Hot topics brought to us by one of Jimmy's favorite sponsors.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, you want to let everybody know who that is?
Hot topics are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Visit audibletrial.com/warroomsports. By the way, finished 52 books for 52 weeks in 2013, and I'm going to do the same again in 2014.
Wow.
The last book I read was called Buck. It was an amazing book, and a lot of this is thanks to Audible. Like, maybe at least half of those have been the audio books. I did do a lot of reading as well, but listen, there's a lot of great stuff on Audible. My wish list is crazy. I still haven't even got to the Dr. J book yet, which I know is scandalous. That's up there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of great books. But when you go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, even if you don't want to keep the service, just go there and sign up and get the free book. Because what's going to happen is once you try the free book, you'll want to keep the service because it allows you to read books without having to read. Anyway,
I hope Ray J is like narrating the Doc book. I hope he's reading it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it would be sterile coming from him.
His own book. I think if Ray J had his own book, that would be the greatest thing ever known to man.
No doubt. All right, we are currently the champions of the Philly-Chicago wager. Yo, it feels good to not have to send those guys another Philly care package. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, every time the Bears and the Eagles play, we have some partners out in Chicago, ranked top 5 Sports Talk Radio. We make little wagers on the games, and as you all know, the Bears forgot to show up this week. I kind of thought we were in trouble, fellas, because the Eagles didn't really have much to play for on Sunday night. Chip, prior to the game, that he wasn't going to shut anybody down, but I didn't know if the game plan was going to be vanilla. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I thought they had the edge because they could have wrapped up their division that evening. But I think the Bears just forgot to come to Philly. And, the
greatest part of this game, which I will never forget, is the day after when all Chicago fans immediately turned on Jay Cutler. That in itself was amazing.
Honestly, I don't even blame Jay Cutler so much as the turnover.
Yo, how can you blame one person? They beat you 54-11. They didn't do nothing. They had a lot of 3 and out. They had a lot of 3 and out,
right?
but no doubt. No doubt. I know Jimmy don't care.
But the funny thing about
long
Jay
as
Cutler
Jay
is, even guys that like Jay Cutler or defend Jay Cutler can admit that it's obvious from the get-go when he's into a game and when he's not into a game.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah. Because I'm one of them. I'm like
where was his mind at? Cause he looked like he didn't care. Even when they gave up 50, he looked like he didn't care. Like, he was somewhere else. Like, I don't know if he's had female problems or,
He looked like a totally different quarterback from the last time when we actually lost this wager. He was like, he was on
into the
night,
game,
and he would not make a mistake. This game, it wasn't so much, like turnovers on his part, but he just, he was just missing dudes, and the pressure was on him, and he couldn't do much. I mean, the whole offense couldn't do much, and that was surprising.
He'll try to snap and go in on one of his teammates or something. Like, he didn't even do that. He was like chilling, like he didn't care.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like, I don't know.
Yo,
I mean, I haven't seen the Eagles defense play that well in a long time, because usually, even if you score 54 points, at the end of the game, you're going to give up some stuff. Like, the Eagles defense played wire to wire, and I was really surprised about that.
Now, here's what's crazy, right? Now, I know B. Austin and Dev are Eagles fanatics. Kill is a Cowboys fan, which makes this interesting. I'm neutral. I'm on the other side. I'm a Broncos fan, but the Eagles are a team, and I know Austin doesn't want to hear this, but they are a team that nobody wants to play if they can, make it to the playoffs, because they're playing their best ball right now.
We're always that team
don't get into
going into the playoffs.
Cliche.
We were that team in 2010. We were that team in 2010 and should have beaten Green Bay, and what Mike Vick did
who was your
on the last drive.
You didn't have the great Nick Foles at quarterback, though.
True, we have Nick Montana back there.
Saint Nick, the jolly Saint Nick. I hear what you're saying, Jimmy. I hear what you're saying.
B. Austin hates for anyone to say anything positive about his team, yo. If the Eagles win the ball, it'll probably take them 2 weeks to realize it.
We're hot. We're peaking. I do see us winning this game in Dallas because so many people
we
are looking at it as a trap game. But
we're getting that. We're going to get to the whole Dallas game. We're talking about the Bears and the Sunday night wager because it feels great, because I'm looking forward to this deep dish pizza, this Garrett's popcorn.
What
Bear Cubs, whoever showed up. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to get too crazy, because the Bears can win it. Like, even if the Eagles do beat the Cowboys, the Bears can, win this game and still get into the playoffs. And just because you beat them once don't mean you're gonna beat them when it counts. So I ain't gonna go too crazy on talking trash about them Bears. But I'm just happy that we won this wager, because I ain't want to send no more grub out to the Midwest.
Jeff, send that food over, man. And my Chris Rock boys, man, I sure am hungry.
I sure am hungry.
Hey, when I was watching the game, I didn't even watch the whole game. Like, I watched some of the first half, and I saw it was like 27-3 or something like that, or 27-6. And then I went on and, had some family time, and then I came back to see the end of the game. And when I saw I turned on the score, and I was like,
yeah, that was crazy. I didn't understand what was going on, but I enjoyed it. See, Kill had mixed emotions there. Like, he needed the Eagles to lose, but at the same time, he wanted to have to spend company money on sending more grub out to the Midwest. So, yeah, that was crazy. Well, we'll get back into, the implications of that game and the ones coming up, like what it all has to do in the playoff race. We'll get back to that when we talk about football in the middle of the second hour. Real quick before we go to our college expert, Fred Perdue of HeavyInTheGames.com, just wanted to, real quick, LeBron James and Serena Williams have been named, they've been voted AP Athletes of the Year. Of course, LeBron, the male athlete of the year, and Serena, the female athlete of the year. Could you guys think of anybody else who deserved it more than these two?
Only a couple of yam farmers I know for that sport, but other than that, it's really not. And LeBron and Serena both are so dominant at what they do that it's getting to a point where, they'll stop being recognized. Like, people, start to, not want to vote for people that good, but
right.
You can always make an argument for them every year in and year out.
The ironic thing about it is this is only the third time that a basketball player has gotten this award. Michael Jordan got it before, and Larry Bird got it before. So it's just Michael, Larry, and LeBron. This is a huge award. This is male athlete of the year, of every single sport there is. And our country likes to make sports up, so it's a lot of sports that we don't even realize were up for this award. So
ping pong or whatnot.
It's probably those Samsung commercials that got LeBron the trophy. People.
How do you think Mike got his? Mike got his from Nike commercials.
Got sports like beach hopscotch or something. They draw a little joint on the beach. I don't know, all kinds of stuff that they make real sports in America.
I've seen some pictures of Serena that make me feel like she's won everything ever that she's up for. She's won. She's winning.
Serena,
you said no matter what, huh?
Now she's won this award 2 times before this time. I mean, Serena's crazy.
4.
Her season was crazy this year. She had a 95% winning percentage, which was the best since Steffi Graf in 1989 when she had a 97%. She had 11 titles.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
This particular season.
Imagine.
Go ahead. She has a long winning streak going on, of course. Venus had a 35 match run in 2000. So it's like what she's doing. A lot of what she did this year is second to a few people, but she's still dominating the game at her age, and at in tennis years she's pretty old. So.
Yo, man,
she's approaching 100.
Serena, man.
There's a God somewhere.
And the thing is, though, Serena is so dominant that people forget that Venus exists. It's crazy because
and that's crazy because Venus used to be so dominant.
Venus used to beat her bad, and and she broke barriers, and she's the reason why women's tennis is what it is. But Serena's taking that baton and went somewhere else with it.
Y'all know that I'm trying to speak without the context of cake when speaking about Serena, and it's very difficult for me. But I will say this: imagine if she really liked the sport and it just wasn't her competitive nature. I don't even think she likes tennis. I just think she's that competitive. She's got that Michael Jordan type streak, Kobe Bryant type streak, and she's a fierce competitor, man.
If she liked the game, she might not be this good. But let's shout out to them, Serena and LeBron, male and female AP Athletes of the Year. Let's go to the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline because we got our college expert waiting on the line, Fred Perdue from Heavy in the Games. Fred, you there? What you got for us this week?
How you guys doing?
We're pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm very good.
Your busy time has come back around. You had a little time off because the bowl games are 9 months after the last game. but it's bowl time. It's a bowl game on right now. So what you got for us today?
Well, we have a couple games. No really big time games just yet. But obviously going in, we obviously have Utah State and Northern Illinois. I personally picked Northern Illinois to lose this game. In an upset. I haven't actually checked out this game. It's on the DVR, so don't tell me what's going on. But I picked Northern Illinois to lose this game 34-31. I picked Cincinnati and North Carolina. I like both teams. I like North Carolina's defense, they came along slowly at the beginning of the year, but they have a tight end by the name of Eric Ebron. He's the number 1 rated tight end going into the 2014 draft. Watch out for him. He is going to make a lot of big plays. Cincinnati's defense, not the greatest, but they have a pretty good offense. After Muncie Legault, their quarterback, came in, got injured, Brandon Kay took over this team and really did some things with that team. Tommy Tuberville brought this team back to where they usually are. Still kind of trying to wrap my mind around having Tommy Tuberville as the head coach at Cincinnati. But I picked Cincinnati to actually lose this game to North Carolina 24-14. We actually have a pretty decent game of teams with decent names, but these teams have been pretty bad this year. Pretty mediocre in Michigan and Kansas State. Michigan 7-5 this year. They're actually down. Their quarterback in Devin Gardner is actually out for this game with a broken foot. He actually played from the second possession of the third quarter on throughout in the Ohio State game with a broken foot. Ended up going all the way down to the wire with a broken foot. He won't be in this game, but true freshman Shane Morris, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school, is going to be able to start in this game. Not good for the Michigan Wolverines. I see Michigan losing this game 21-13. You have Oregon and Texas, the send-off Mac Brown Bowl. Oregon, I don't think will be very interested, but in disinterested Oregon just doesn't score 60. They'll just score 40. Texas just doesn't have the offense to keep up with this Oregon team. Oregon struggles with physical offenses, but then again, you have to actually have the play calling for that. Texas is going to have to want to keep up in this game, and they're not going to want to run the football here. I can see Oregon winning this game 41-21.
Oregon is a fast team, though. They're very fast. They're just as fast as Clowney behind the steering wheel.
His second speeding ticket of the month, by the way.
Yes. Can we just say he'll still be a top 5 pick? But those
you think top 5?
Top 5 picks.
He's gonna be he's gonna be on the top 5 episode of Broke in a couple of years.
Do you think that the rule that made him come back actually will cost him in the long run? Because it's not that he had a great season and now he's getting in off the field trouble. What do you think about that?
I do think him coming back kind of hurt him a bit, but it's not because of the off-field things, or it's not because he didn't have a great season. I think with teams scheming around him, you as a defensive lineman try to go through triple team blocks and tell me how many sacks you'll have at the end of the year. When teams are going up tempo on you all game, it really tends to hurt you. So I really think it was an aberration that his season was terrible. He didn't have a great season, but he didn't have him having an off season is a lot better than most defensive ends having a good season. It's just the same. I still think he's a top 5 pick. He's a top 5 talent. And as a pass rusher, I think he is the best pass rusher in this draft coming up. I think he'll probably end up with the Atlanta Falcons or a team like the Texans who need a really premier pass rusher. But we can save that for the NFL draft. I'm here for your college football pleasures.
No
I have 3 more for you. Virginia Tech and UCLA. Very good defenses, but I think in this game with UCLA having Coach Mora out there really coaching up this team and really bringing this team back, I think UCLA is going to really they might hang it on this Virginia Tech team that has been sliding the last couple of years, 21-7. And the 2 biggest games that I have, Duke going up against Texas A&M, the Fighting Dukies, as I call them this year, going up against Johnny Football in his last game. This game will not be close, folks. If you want to watch this game until halftime, you can turn off after halftime. 51-28, Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel will do it big at the end for his last game. You can't expect him to do any less. And last but not least, you have Louisville going up against Miami. Teddy Bridgewater, there are a lot of storylines in this game. Teddy Bridgewater spurned Miami before. He was actually committed to go to Miami until Randy Gregory retired. There are a lot of Louisville players are actually from South Florida. A lot of these players know each other. They played against each other. Stephen Morris and Teddy Bridgewater actually played Little League Baseball against each other, and they still have a bit of a rivalry going from those days. Why? Don't know. But
Jimmy Chow Fred threw that in there. He was committed to go to Miami.
Uh-huh.
They always talking about they didn't get. LaShawn McCoy was committed to go to Miami. Go ahead, Fred.
But Louisville, I have Louisville winning this game 34-21. Miami's defense has given up over 600 yards of total offense in the last 5 games, and I really think it's going to get worse. Teddy Bridgewater hasn't really made his decision to come back or not. Going into the 2014 draft, he would be the number 1 overall quarterback and possibly the number 1 overall player, but he hasn't made that decision.
I think he's the number 1 overrated player.
Wow, you say that, Dev? Why you say that?
Dev, come on.
It was just a lot of. I don't know, man. I just didn't see what everybody was saying before the season. I didn't see that during the season.
See, Dev, you was cool with me until you did that. Now I'm cursing you to lose this Sunday just for that. No, I'm just.
We're gonna lose anyway.
I have Louisville game 34-21. Just simply, I think Miami has the offense to keep up, but defensively, I just don't see this team keeping up. The defensive line is just not there for Miami, and their defensive coordinator and Mark D'Onofrio just keeps sitting back in cover 2, and you can't do that against a quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater.
Yo, let's just stop playing cover 2. It doesn't work no more, yo. At any level, cover 2 doesn't work no more, yo.
Everybody stop it.
It really doesn't. And in the age of spread offenses where you can't touch the quarterback, and Miami surely can't touch a quarterback even if he was standing still.
Why you think Dungy won't come back?
No, he like, I have my success. I'm gonna walk off into the sunset.
I can't run my scheme no more. Like, what's the point? Like,
Kiffin got torched when he was at USC. When Kiffin was at USC, that cover 2 was getting torched left and right.
It definitely doesn't work in the NFL anymore.
It doesn't work no more, yo. It's played out, yo.
It doesn't. And simply, Miami, that is going to be the reason that you have to have a pass rush with a cover 2 defense. Yeah. And simply put, Miami does not have a pass rush. Dev, I could put you on that defensive line and you can get 5 sacks.
Let's go.
I'm nice like that.
All right, Mr. Purdue, before we get you out of here, I have to make one statement, man. You know, as a New England Patriots fan that you are, I asked you before last week, and you said you thought the Ravens were going to beat y'all. But then, once the game started, y'all start beating up on them. You start talking all your trash online. I'm like, this guy online talking about his trash. You put against your team too.
He did the same thing in the Denver game.
I had to be objective. As a analyst, you must be objective. As a fan, I am going to root for my team. I am going to root for my team regardless. It could be we could be playing the Denver Broncos, who, by the way, we beat those guys. Or we could be playing some other team and we still beat those guys, and I'm still rooting for my team.
No doubt. Listen, man. I'll keep it a million. The one team that I don't want us to play is the Patriots because Belichick just has a way of getting under Peyton Manning's. He can't beat him. So I'm hoping somebody else knocks y'all out of the playoffs.
Can I just say, in that game against the Ravens, how many times did the refs try to give us the game with penalties? Even as a Patriots fan, I can admit when the refs are cheating another team.
Yeah, every game.
Word
every
to the
Patriot.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Purdue, man, thanks as always. Happy holidays to you and the family, man, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Same to you guys. Same to you.
All right, good brother. Thanks.
Fred. All right.
Fred Purdue,
and everybody.
Yeah,
at Purdue Sports and also at Heavy in the Games on Twitter. Go follow him. Gentlemen.
All right. Y'all go tell your friends if you want to talk hoops, because we're about to talk hoops right after Jimmy give us these messages, so,
Absolutely. We about to get
gather around.
Hoops, Listen. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise, apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our site, which is warroomsports.com. Click on the Fanatics logo. Go get you some gear. You can get you some basketball, baseball, football, even MMA, boxing gear. But you get the special hookup when you go through us. as with everything else, yo. But let's definitely talk about some basketball, gentlemen. What do you say?
We the hookup Kangs. The Kang.
Yes, sir.
Basketball time, yeah.
All right.
Listen, man, as we always say, word to Curtis Blow, you ain't got bars like that. But yo, Dad, who were the players of the week this week in the NBA?
The players of the week in the NBA, one Mr. Dwayne Wade, who is now engaged. So I guess he put a ring on it and went back to being Flash. And Blake Griffin, who we're going to talk about a little bit in a minute. It's crazy. We always have to talk about Blake Griffin. Dwayne Wade. Wade averaged. Well, Miami went 3-0 last week. Wade averaged 26.3 points. He shot 56 from the floor, and he had a season-high 32 on 15 of 25 shooting against the Indiana Pacers when the Heat won that game by 3 points earlier in the week. Blake Griffin and the Clippers went 4-0. He averaged 26 points a game, 11.3 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. He had a 3-point rebound double-doubles. He had 3-point rebounds. See, I shouldn't say it like that because it sounds confusing.
I don't know what the H you about to say.
He had 3 double-doubles. He had 3 double-doubles during the week, and they were all points and rebounds. So, he's not really going to get that many assists. So, yeah, he's balling a little bit. We always give him a lot of flack here in the War Room because his game, from a technical standpoint, doesn't really seem to be improving. But, he's playing a little harder, and he's putting up numbers. I think it's because he has a chip on his shoulder, and everybody's going at him. So, What do you guys think about it? Because hasn't he won before this season?
I blame Zebo for all the criticism that Blake Griffin gets because when they seem to play all the time, he just, shows another side of Blake. Yeah, he kind of exposed him, and now the league is just like, look, that's the formula. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to expose you for them folks that don't know you. Twinkle toes.
I think he's improving. I said I think he's improving, but I don't think it's any leaps and bounds in terms of his game. I think it's more so effort. I think that he's playing at a more engaged effort level. I have to wait to see whether his actual game is coming up, because it certainly isn't an improvement to the level of LaMarcus Aldridge or Kevin Love. Like, he's still, to me, a notch, maybe 2 below those guys, but the effort level is a little
2
different.
now?
Yeah.
I mean, he's averaging like 21 and 11 almost. Like, how much can we really nitpick this guy?
But you know what, though? That's what's scary, because if he ever realized how to play basketball, he might be the best player in the league. My man put up 20 points.
I agree with that.
And we're talking about him like he's garbage.
I know, that's the thing.
Yo, right now, Kevin Love and LaMarcus Aldridge are the 2 dudes that they can just give you what you want. Like, what you want.
Man,
what you want tonight.
I understand.
You need me to get 18 boards and 35? I'll do that.
Yeah, but even Kevin gets no love.
It's sort of like Sonny Toe Cologno, man. There's nothing worse in this world than wasted talent, man. But listen.
He did. Kevin Love is averaging 26 and 14. God, easy.
Crazy, right?
Ain't got no endorsement. Ain't got no endorsement.
That's can't even get a Hyundai commercial. Like,
he got like the local Cadillac dealerships or something.
That's because he's white. Is reverse racism, not FOH. I hope he don't get nothing anyway. But listen, though, here's the thing. Speaking of Blake Griffin, because Blake Griffin has been in the news because of what happened on his Christmas game, yo. And the thing is, usually when we talk about Blake Griffin, it's in reference to him, like, hiding in the locker room and putting on his Walkman, and this is what Blake Griffin listens to before he gets on the court.
When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall.
So usually we talk about Blake because Blake is, has the he's kind of considered a soft player, but he says that it was cowardly. It was cowardly what the Warriors did to get at him on Christmas Day. They got him ejected, right? And I kind of agree with him because of who the Warriors coach is. I know that this was intentional. They were like, starting to get chipper, and they were going at him, and without him even responding, he automatically got technical fouls, which acted to technical foul.
That's why I don't like that whole double technical thing. I think it's a cop-out for the referees. It gives them a cop-out. They don't have to really sort out what happened and punish the guys that started the whole thing. You can absolutely do nothing and be on the receiving end of a double technical foul, and I've hated that rule for years. You know what I'm saying? I really think.
Dev, you are correct. But the reason I know it was on purpose. Here's how I know it's on purpose. Mark Jackson, when he was an announcer, and he used to say this all the time, he would often say, double technicals are stupid. He's like, if I had a great player, I'd just get him 2 double technicals and get him kicked out of the game. I've heard Mark Jackson say that on the sideline. He's one of those guys who would sit there and analyze games, and he would try to figure out gray areas in the rules. So he was good for that. So seeing that, and the thing about it is it's cowardly, but at the same time it's smart too, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's smart. It's a smart strategy. I don't necessarily look at it as being cowardly. I just think that it puts the onus back on the league to kind of correct things and to further your point about, the cop-out. Not only is it a cop-out on the court, but then what they're going to do more than likely is go back and review the situation and rescind the technical after the fact so that it doesn't count against his season total.
Yeah, but that don't still count against your team's record.
I think that's corny because the game has now already been affected. So the league is essentially a cop-out.
And this one, because they do that all the time. I actually don't. This one wasn't really a double tech because Andrew Bogut actually got a flagrant foul, and they got tangled up. They just called a technical on Griffin as well. But we do see the double technical a little too much, in the game because it gets the refs off from having to actually do something and sort out the trouble and the mess. But I agree. I think I do agree with him. I think it is a little cowardly. I mean, we all know that sports, the good people in sports know that it's more than just a physical thing. It's one of those chess games where if you could take your opponent out of the game mentally, then you'll have an edge. But there's certain things you can do. Like, you don't have to get physical. It doesn't have to come to a physical altercation to get a player out of his game. Because that's not getting him out of his game. That's making him defend himself as a man, and he's getting kicked out of the game for it. That's different than you guarding a man and you're talking to him, you're talking about his mom, you're talking about whatever, and it shows up in his game, down the other side of the floor. He can't concentrate because he's thinking about what you said. That's mental warfare. But I think it's cowardly to say, let's go rough the dude up so he can defend himself like a man and we can get him kicked out of the game. I think that borders on cowardly a little bit. That's not really mental.
You don't have to respond.
That's an interesting way to look at it. That's why I was asking.
But you're saying you don't have to respond, though. But then when he doesn't respond, we're going to be calling him Drake. We're going to be calling him all this, calling him all that. Like, sometimes as a man, you do have to respond.
Yeah,
that's why I think the whole double technical thing, even though it wasn't in this situation, I think that's cowardly because they give you technical fouls for responding to something that anybody will respond to. Dude walk by, slap you in your face, and you push him, and you get in a double tech. Like, that's not cool. You slap me in my face. I'm supposed to. I think it's cowardly. I think there's different ways to take somebody out of their game mentally than to just actually, come to physical alter. It's just not.
He a man with pride. You don't do ish like that. I mean,
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Exactly, man.
He ain't 40 yet. Knowing Blake, if he's still playing when he's 40, they still gonna be trying him. Like, I feel sorry for him. He's like a target now. Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't.
You know what he should do?
Any of the physicality
you know what?
of that game.
You're not gonna be pucking me when we get 40. I'm letting you know that right now.
I think there were too many descendants of the DeBarges in that game for me to believe that anything was really going to go down. Like, it was a lot of El DeBarges and Chisos in that game. Like,
both teams were full of light-skinned brothers, man.
That makes it worse. Like, you got cats like Andrew Bogut trying to chump you.
Trying
I'm not letting Andrew Bogut
I
chump
told you,
me, man.
it's all, Zebo ruined his career, man.
Bogut is not going to chump. See, but that's what he needs to do, though. If you're going to get kicked out of the game, then he needs to get his money's worth. Because just to send that message, if y'all going to keep doing it, he needs to just choke slam somebody.
If Blake making an example out of one person,
somebody.
all this may chill, yo. All this may chill.
Yeah.
You need to make an example out of one person.
You're right. If he Kermit Washington just one dude, even if it was both.
Yo, Kermit almost murdered somebody, though.
if he Kermit one dude, then they going to stop playing with him, and you know. And the refs, if dudes in the league keep getting Kermited, then the refs are going to have to do something. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to control the game more, so they can't just go out with their little cop-out calls and give double technicals, because dudes going to be out there getting Kermited. That's not cool.
I'm gonna be real with you. In this society, as soft as society is, if you catch a Kermit, that's an actual charge. Like they will put you in cuffs and take you out. Like you can't catch a Kermit.
Kermit was in the locker room after that game, on some like other stuff.
Yo, yeah, I don't think you can even give a dude a Kermit. You can't give a dude a Kermit these days.
You can't, not in today's NBA, yo. You can't Kermit nobody, but Blake gonna have to though, yo.
Yo, if you could, dark skinned Jermaine would have already, or Captain Jack, like they would have already tried that.
But be honest, you gotta admit though, that's the only way for him to get out of this, because like at the end of the day, he got like other soft dudes trying him. Like
on the real, the way you're laying it out, then what he needs to do is after the game, go and visit the locker room. You know, they let Joakim Noah feels free to walk up in the locker room. So go visit the locker room and say,
no, he got to do this on TV. He got to stretch somebody's boots for the whole world to see. It can't be a rumor. He has to.
But if it happens anywhere around the
somebody.
game, they're gonna try to, suspend him for like 2 years. You know how the NBA go these days. Yeah. So he might just have to do it at the club, at the after party.
He wants to pay that bread. That's all.
He got to do something.
Yeah, Jimmy talking about the whole world. Jimmy, we live in the world in the world of world stars. So the world's always looking, yo. He needs to do it away from
He definitely got to Sharkeisha somebody. He got to tell Kid to put the money to the side. Like, look, put this money to the side, because this got to stop. But anyway, man, I mean, it was interesting. Some people say it's genius by the Warriors. Some people say that it is cowardly. I get Dev's point, but I guess you can argue both sides. You can argue both sides. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
if you can't beat him, beat him up.
Speaking of teams that need to be beat up, yo, in my personal opinion, this is the most disappointing team in the entire National Basketball Association right now, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. Jason Kidd calls out his team after the Christmas Day ass kicking they received. Kevin Garnett went off. Kevin Garnett said he was lazy. So what's going? I mean, it seems like we talk about this all the time on Court Vision, which can be found on WardenSportsTV.com. Shameless plug. But what's going on with Brooklyn now? It's getting to the point where this whole thing with Jason Kidd just isn't working. He's ruining it for every player right now.
I gotta blame it. I gotta blame it on Kidd, man, because I refuse to believe that these dudes are just a collection of has-beens. I think the talent is there.
I don't.
What's going on? Like what? You can't fall off that. Like, first of all, Jersey Joe ain't that old. Like, he's not old. Paul,
they enough.
Yeah,
they ain't fall off that fast. What did the Celtics do last year with Paul and
they didn't
Kevin?
They ain't look like this. That's for sure.
But it's probably time to catch up to you at some point. But no, I got some quotes from Kidd. He was saying at the end of the day, the coach can only hold you responsible for energy and effort. If you're not giving it, I got to take you out. And if you're missing shots, that's just a part of the game. He had to throw that in there because he used to miss a lot of shots. But if you're not giving energy or effort, I've got to take you out. So he's basically saying, he's not getting on guys for playing badly, missing shots, stuff like that, because that's natural. It happens. People go through it. But he thinks that his team is just not giving effort night after night, and it's been showing because they've had a couple of like third quarter collapses recently, and when the Bulls took a lead on them in the Christmas Day game, like he just looked at the team as quitting basically, and plus they're being ravaged with injuries. So I think some other people who might still be on the court, they might not be strong-minded. They might be in the mindset where, oh, this guy's going down again. We suck, this and that. Because you guys know Lopez is out for the season now with a broken foot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Any chance they had of turning it around and being what they were supposed to be,
they needed him.
Yeah, he's like their best offensive player at this point, and he's gone. So
I wonder how the owner's feeling. Like soon, like Billy King and Jason Kidd, they may be.
I'm here to tell you, Nino Brown says your services are no longer needed in the community.
Yo, if Billy King could get away with what he did as a Sixers front office member, can't nothing do that, man.
I just think them hiring Jason Kidd was so risky anyway. It's like, how can you give up on him so easily when you did something that you know you probably shouldn't have done in the first place? You know, because then you're putting the whole thing onto his shoulders. I mean, you did get him a pretty good roster, but you know, sometimes it's hard to put all those guys together and it work out that quickly. So
and every once in a while, got to be a fall guy. He gonna be the fall guy. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man.
They still paying Avery too, right?
Yo, Billy King gonna be like, look, it's either me or you, and it ain't gonna be me.
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. It's a dog-eat-dog world. He got to look out for himself. So that's buying him more time. He's like, look, it's Jason's fault. This ain't my fault.
I'm going to find somebody.
I mean, FOH to Jason, man. But it's just sad, man. It's just
PJ Carlissimo on the side laughing somewhere. Like, told you.
New York basketball overall is out of control, man. Shout out to our people from New York, especially those listening, man. But, y'all basketball right now is poo-poo.
It's terrible.
Yo, speaking of those Christmas games, though, right? What did you guys think about the uniforms? You know, all the teams get their Christmas Day uniforms.
Give it back. Take it where you got it. Give it back. Give it why?
Back.
Shout out to Goodfellas. Those who didn't catch the Goodfellas reference.
Bring it back from where you brought it.
Bring it back where you got it.
My man Jimmy Conway said, bring it back from where you got it. What's this? Is that even bring it back from where you got it?
Jimmy Conway is too cool to sound stupid, so I love it.
He said, bring it back from where
no
you got it.
No one else can say it that way.
But listen. This is that they were having this discussion.
That's why it wasn't written like that.
I know. They were having this discussion on our Facebook page the other day. I wasn't really a part of it. I just commented today, but people were thinking, everybody was basically dissing the uniform, saying it looks stupid. And people were saying, well, if they don't sell, then they'll go away. But I'm thinking they're going to sell because there's way too many followers, in this society. So people are going to buy it just to have the latest thing.
Just because.
And it's going to give the NBA. It's going to give the NBA the confidence to bring them back out,
I didn't like it necessarily, but I didn't think it's as bad as you gentlemen obviously do. Like, I was
talking about the people on the page.
No, I'm just saying in general, like
the tight college look, but
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of tight. It was kind of too tight.
We've already seen trends in fashion changing. We see what Russell Westbrook does. We see what LeBron and D Wade do. Gosh, we've even seen them. They even got my little man D Rose, man, and put him on the cover of that magazine in that sausage skin. So, I think that there's an agenda being pushed by certain people to appeal to other people. To appeal to other people.
They look like soccer jerseys or something.
But my thing is, if you could
watch what happens. They're going to keep the jersey, and they're going to bring back the early '80s and late '70s shorts. I'm telling you.
Here's my thing, B. Austin. Like our homie Bubba Chuck, I'm stuck in between 97 and 03, like you like to say.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't mind that jersey, but they got to make it a little bit more baggy. It can't be like, it can't be painted on, The jersey wasn't bad. It's the fact that it was painted on.
Them jerseys tight.
Can you imagine if Bubba yo, if Bubba was in his prime still, yo, he would be getting fined every minute.
Not only that, he would have told them to give him a 6X John for Christmas, yo.
He's been out there in the tent. He's running in the tent.
Bubba Chuck had a 6X Christmas jersey, man.
You already know he practiced in Tim's when he practiced.
Yo, man. Listen, I'm stuck in the '90s too, good brother. I'm all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ain't like
yo,
you know,
the world,
black mooned out where your joints got to be like 8 sizes too big.
I was gonna say Allen Iverson practiced in Tim's. Allen Iverson don't practice.
We talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
Yo, man, them jerseys gotta go away.
They was majorly too tight, man. They was way too tight.
Even your man LeBron, who likes to wear spandex, was like, "Yo, I felt a tug as I was trying to shoot."
Yo, but my thing is, it had to be.
All them dudes hacking you.
Be healthy. It was like, it has to be bad for their circulation. Like, it has to be blood clot.
You gotta let people's heart, beat. Your heart can't beat in shirts like that. That's not.
No, you can see your heart beating in shirts though. So it's time out. You can literally see hearts beating on the sideline. Like, yo, come on, cuz. Anyway,
like Shaq when he was dancing with Jabberwocky.
I thought it was unisex basketball.
Like, some cats actually looked uncomfortable. Like, some cats looked uncomfortable playing in those jerseys.
Yeah, they definitely did. They all look like a bunch of Irvin Johnson Juniors. Anyway, listen, the last story I want to talk about is Kobe Bean Bryant, who vows to come back this season. You know, he said his knee injury is unrelated to how quickly he came back from the Achilles, and he definitely wants to play again this season. He said that when he went to get his knee checked, he just did it as a precaution. He thought he had like a bruise or something, so he didn't even believe the doctor when they told him what it really was, but he's focused on coming back this season. What do you guys think about him wanting to come back this season, and do you think he should come back this season?
I think he owed it to the Lakers to just go full throttle. I think he should come back. You got a 2-year contract. I think he should come back.
Shut it down, get healthy, and play another 2 years. Yo, I just want to take real quick, not even 60 seconds, 20 seconds. Jimmy, I feel bad for you. I know that you're a Lakers fan, and I apologize to my man Earl in New York. Swaggy P he doesn't have a brain in his head, yo. The shot that he takes, yo, give that man a rumble if you see him, yo.
I just thought about something as you said that. I just think I got us a versus for tomorrow. Swaggy P versus Earl.
Yo.
Hey, that's a good one.
The biggest gunner. Who's the biggest gunner?
Hey, you know the P is a mystery. The P stands for, well, he won't tell anybody. It's just Swaggy P.
Swaggy P versus Earl. Yeah, because Swaggy P is out of control, be awesome. But back to Kobe, though. With the whole Kobe thing, because to me it's kind of sad because you never want to see, one of the greats go down like this. But, this just isn't good. Even when he was playing, he looked terrible. Let's face it. But, I mean, Father Time is undefeated. I don't know whether that's what's going on here, but it's kind of sad, Joe.
I think he's just easing his way back. I mean, he always came across to me as kind of like a flat-footed runner anyway, but he seemed to be favoring it a little bit, just trying to – I think he was a little nervous to go full throttle, and he wasn't shooting as much as he wanted to because he probably knew if he went out there gunning, he would embarrass himself. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a big setback because, if he was going to ease his way into it, now he got to do that all over again with a knee and a healing Achilles. But he said he feels more locked in now than he has been in his whole career. He said his spirits are fine. He said his spirits are fine, his focus is great, but he's saying it might be because of this. Like, he keeps hitting these setbacks and, the competitive nature in him doesn't want to heal and go out like that, and he wants to prove that he still has what he's supposed to have.
No, but here's my thing to you. I'm going to ask all you guys this, right? Is it me or do they play better without him? Because when he came back, the team played worse. And even though they lost yesterday, they played a competitive game against one of the better teams in the league. Like, they seem to play better as a team without him. Not saying that, hey,
like they play
you
with
shouldn't
less
start
pressure.
him. Just in general.
That's always the case with a polarizing superstar like Kobe, because once he comes in, even if he's not 100%, they were still playing as if he was 100%, and they were waiting for the Kobe Bryant show instead of doing what they were doing before he came. And half the time, Kobe wouldn't even shoot. So they were getting the ball passed to them in situations, and they were surprised, like, what the hell?
Right. What do I do with this? Why did you do this?
But what do you think? Do you think they'll remain in playoff contention? Because right now they're in playoff contention, believe it or not. Like, they actually, it's surprising to me too, but do you think they remain in contention for the playoffs without him?
No, there's like 8 teams in the West that are better than them, though. So
yeah, but he asked about contention, though. Yeah, I mean, because they're not actually in it, like if it ended today, but they, like he said, they are in contention. I think they can stay around the mix. I definitely think they can stay around the mix.
If they get a healthy Blake, they got a healthy Blake coming back and Nash.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when he comes back, is he going to be healthy enough to push them over the hump, or is he going to set them back?
No.
Because he'll still be easing into his game, and they'll still be waiting for the Kobe Bryant show. So that might be.
Now we want to talk about someone that cannot outrun Father Time. Yo, Steve Nash didn't play any D to begin with, and I just believe with the type of guards that he faces night in, night out, and not having a shot blocker, like, yo, Dwight didn't do anything in Los Angeles, but at the very least he did attempt to protect the rim. There's no rim protection for them now. Yo, I don't think Nash in the lineup is good at all. Yo, Westbrook is gonna. Never mind. I think it's time for Nash. Nash should hang it up now.
My neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
There's also a situation where, you know,
at this point, I
think
Blake gives you more than that.
Check.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Guaranteed money as long as you out there working out.
Yeah, because we always, as fans and analysts, we always telling somebody when they need to quit. Kobe got 48.
Bench and let the direct deposit happen.
Kobe said, I got $48.5 million reasons not to quit.
Yo, you getting paid to work out. You getting paid to work out and sit in good seats for the game.
I think with Kobe.
Yo, and show off your threads, man. Like, come on, man.
Kobe.
What you're saying is that Nash, he gets healthy, and then once he gets healthy, the level of point guard play is so fast and so physical that he goes out there, tries to guard someone, and then he's back on the IR because he can't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
He gets healthy, goes back out there, goes back on the IR.
Pull his groin trying to keep up.
He might end up going. He might end up not being on the IR, but being in the ER, trying to stick with some of these young boys running by.
And be awesome. You brought
and still be getting that direct deposit.
Yo, be awesome. You brought up the perfect name, because I remember last year when they played OKC and he tried to check Westbrook. Yo, you talk about Westbrook.
And in no way is this demeaning to Westbrook. Westbrook literally is like a monkey. Like his ooh-ah is just crazy. Like everything he does is fast. Everything he does is fast and strong. Pause that comment. But he's going by Nash, and Nash.
No, I understand you, but it was really embarrassing to watch him try. Nash tried, man. Nash tried to stand in front of him, man. Next thing you know, man, it was like, you got me going in circles. Yo, he was just going around him anytime he felt like it, yo. Anytime he felt like it. It's very embarrassing, man. So with that being said, man, the Lakers need to keep both Kobe and Nash away, if you ask me. I mean, the team is playing well, but who knows, man. I hope Bean gets healthy, but I definitely don't want him to go out this way. You can't go out.
I think with Bean it's a little different, because while we are still impressed with the way prior to the injury he was able to demonstrate some athleticism after 17 in, I still think he does what he does based on a high skill level, and I think that he can regain enough athletically to continue doing what it is he does with the footwork and the shot that he has. I still see Kobe giving you 24, 25 a game.
I hope
even
so,
post-injury.
You're very optimistic. You're very optimistic.
He's not dependent. His game isn't dependent on athleticism, though. Believe it or not.
But you're basing that on last year. We're talking about somebody coming off of the Achilles, off of the knee. Like, we don't know what he's going to be like. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I hear you, but we just can't. We won't know until we see it. You know what I'm saying? We have to see it.
Well,
like Dev said, he was already favored.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, man.
Well, Jim, you got somebody in the digital, and all you football heads out there, we're gonna talk about Week 17 in the NFL right on the other side of these calls that we're about to take. So
let's take some calls real quick.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get the homie calling all the way from California. We got the homie Rob calling in. Rob, what's up, homie?
Biggity Rob.
What's up,
Rob? What happened? I think Rob's phone dropped. I think his call dropped. But anyway, man. B. Austin, back to your point, though, because Rob's phone did drop. Rob, call back in, because your phone dropped on us, good brother. But
okay.
With that being said, I just want to see where he is when he comes back. But, only time will tell. Dev said he was already favoring the leg, so we'll see if he's still favoring the leg. Because we know that he has an attitude problem. So with him having an attitude problem, he's going to force himself to come back, whether it's right or wrong.
That's true.
Anyway, that being said, Rob's call drop. Rob, call back in. But in the meantime, Dev, let's move on to football. Before we do, tell everybody real quick how to get in touch with us.
You guys can check out our website, warroomsports.com, and call in and speak with us about any of today's topics. Dial the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. We're going to talk a little NFL wrap, Week 17. We got a lot of playoff position on the line. Should be a pretty exciting week. And NFL wrap is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. You can now hear our show on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your computer, your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, Palm phone, not sure why you still got them, your iPads, your tablets, anything that you got, you can listen to our show on it. The latest episode is always available for you. No syncing needed, no memory or storage wasted. Downloading is easy. Just click on that Stitcher logo on our website and listen, or download to your mobile phone directly from that page. But before you do, make sure you enter the promo code, The War Room, just one word, The War Room, for a chance to win a cash prize. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. Oh, fellas. Week 17 NFL season. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet because, the playoffs are coming up, so that's a good thing. But, dang, as much as we look forward to football, the regular season is coming to an end. But it is not going to come to an end without some major bang. And let's start off with the biggest story of the week. Let's be frank. Whether you like the dude, whether you hate the dude, Tony Romo, he suffered a back injury, herniated disc. And, he had some problems with his back before. But he has a herniated disc that he suffered against the Redskins, soldiered it out for the rest of the game, actually, game-winning drive, game-winning touchdown pass while limping around and all that kind of stuff. By all accounts, Adam Schefter reported earlier in the week that Tony was out for the season. The Cowboys refused to confirm that. I don't know if they're basically just trying to get the Eagles to prepare for two quarterbacks or if they're really holding out hope that he'll come back and play. I'm not sure what it is, but we got a big game brewing. As you guys know, Akil, Doc Bay, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. B. Austin and I are Philadelphia Eagles fans. Jimmy's neutral. He's from Philly, though. I always tell people Jimmy doesn't really root against the home teams. He rots the home teams.
I'm trying to go to a parade, yo.
Yeah, he liked the party and he liked the parade. So
I'm trying to go to the parade. See all the Becky flags and all that.
I would say this is how I would describe you to people, Jimmy. I tell people okay, the teams in the city that aren't his number one teams, then they're at least his number two team, if that's possible.
Yeah. I just don't claim that because I hate when other people claim my. Shout out to KC Mack who got 11 teams. KC Mack, I roll with the NFC North But anyway,
what we can just describe, Jimmy, he got his teams. He just don't hate the home teams. A lot of people get
I don't
teams,
hate the home team at all.
and they just hate the home teams. Like, yo, sometimes I don't understand like how people hate the home team so much. Like, what they do to you?
I definitely don't hate the home teams.
Like, what they do to you besides not win? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have certain teams I root for, and to hear why I root for the teams I root for is coming out in the book next year. Anyway, but listen though, the thing about it is, like, I need the Eagles or somebody to win so we can have it, because the parades be all that, yo. The Beckys get to flashing you and all that. It's a good time, man. So I'm team Nick Foles, as long as they ain't playing my Broncos.
Jimmy,
what's up?
Flashing back.
Jimmy, why are you talking about a parade with reference to the Eagles?
I know. See, yo, be Austin, you are like a man who's been scorned by a woman so many times. Yo, if you just
B. Austin will fight a dude. B. Austin will fight a dude for complimenting his team. Yo, your team look nice today. Shut up, cuz. You want to see me?
Yo, he gets mad. I've never seen nothing like. He's like a scoring. Y'all blame McNabb for this, but he's a scoring woman, yo. Yo, B. Austin got that Mike Tyson. He don't want to hear nothing positive, yo.
I blame
but the thing is, yo,
but
if you start talking negative, he'll jump in with you and diss them with you. But don't say nothing positive about his team. God damn, Eagles got my man B. Austin all twisted, man. But,
yo, man, come on. It's things like the game we play against Minnesota that do that to me. Those types of games, kind of.
Yeah. See, but this whole thing. This is a Minnesota situation waiting to happen. But if you listen to Chip Kelly, I think they learned their lesson from that. They're like, look.
Oh yeah,
we will be prepared. Yeah.
Let's hear
Zach May, you're down in Dallas. You're right there with the Tony Romo stuff. You're actually the one who refuted the report, and let us know to tell the fans that the Cowboys hadn't confirmed that Schefter report, so we kind of had to change up the report that we made. What's been going on? I know Tony didn't practice today. He hasn't even been attending the meetings. So it's kind of difficult for me to believe that they're still holding out hope if he's not even going to the meetings. Like, why wouldn't Tony Romo be in the meetings?
Yeah, now I think either the team is trying to get their Bill Belichick on. You know how Bill Belichick and the Patriots the injury report saying all kind of information. But one thing Romo does have is a high pain threshold, whether it's playing with a punctured lung or, playing with broken this or broken that in finishing game. They do, it's probably 80-20 he won't play, but the team is still holding on to that 20% of, hey, if he can just go through some treatment and get his back and his hip together, and let's see how he is Saturday night or Saturday that day, then he'll give us a chance. Then they'll go with it. But in the meantime, you sound like you sound like two more quarterbacks. I know Orton's going to be the starter, and then because
the Cowboys only had two quarterbacks on the roster. So you need a backup for if Tony can't even play.
And then there's a guy off the practice squad that they're trying to bring back in because they're going to need because Orton's going to be the starter, but then they're going to need a scout team quarterback, and then they're going to need a backup quarterback to get everything going. So
they brought in
we'll
Kittner,
see.
right?
But personally, they brought in Kittner off the couch.
Who was the backup before Orton?
Exactly, exactly. So
I know Donovan McNabb upset he didn't get a call.
that was perfect to play the Eagles too.
Yo, Kittner get a call before you.
Yo,
messed up, man.
Shout out to Roy Burton from the Broad Street Nine. He says the Cowboys literally have John Kittner on the team. They have a quarterback that played with Warren Moon, in 2013 going to 2014, still trying to get it done, man.
I guess they figured.
Remember, Palmer was his backup.
Yeah, and Kittner was the last backup. He was the last backup in Dallas before Orton, I believe. So I guess See, but now this is the thing. No practice, no meeting. I understand no practice. He's your quarterback. He knows your offense in and out. He makes your offense most of the time.
Right.
But this seems like the type of injury, and I'm no doctor. I just play one on TV. But this seems like the type of injury where if you get hit, you take a sack, it's going to hurt again. So
badly.
Is it just like I think they would kind of be setting Romo up for failure? Like, do they believe Kyle Orton is that unprepared that you would even risk putting Romo out there at this point. And I'm not even talking about risking him because you're paying all this money. I'm just talking about risking him going out there and not helping the team.
All right, here we got a comment to what you just said.
So
what you just said, we have a comment in our chat room. KC Max says, in Orton, we don't trust. He said Kyle Orton turned down a starting job. He said Kyle Orton turned down a starting job in Kansas City to be a backup in Dallas. He wants no part of playing.
And actually, they did the statistics on Kyle Orton, and as for much flack as Romo takes for his, late game not getting it done when the playoffs are on the line, like Orton's is even worse. So I kind of understand with the. But you got to go with a healthy guy, man. You got
to. The point, I think there's more to the point that you're making. Like, there's different types of injuries. When you injure an extremity, okay, cool. A lot of times that'll sit you down or whatever. But your back is a part of your core. Like, what can you do with a herniated disc? Like, he's one hit away from like serious permanent damage. I would imagine. And so,
Bielsa, you just made a great point because your back. It's one of those things that affects everything you try to do with your body.
Everything.
Like people, you know how we laugh at people sometimes when they hurt their arm and they limp off the field? Like, your arm and your legs don't have any nerves that's controlling each other. But, Tony Romo was limping last week after he hurt his back, and everybody kind of thought he had a leg injury and didn't realize it was his back. But that's
real.
legitimate. His
back
will stop him from running. It'll stop him from throwing. So I don't see any way that he can go this week.
Yeah, that's like it's not like when Dwayne Wade popped his shoulder out and they got him a wheelchair. Like, this is real. This is real deal. This is real deal. It's real deal related. So I definitely think that while we're on here laughing and joking, there's definitely something.
That's the real deal Holyfield.
There's definitely something to the point of them trying to have the Eagles prepare for two quarterbacks. I think it's a combination of that and them truly holding on to hope because they believe that Kyle Orton is not the guy. They don't have a chance to win. So it's a combination of if there is that off fraction of a chance Tony Romo can go, we'd rather go with him over a healthy Orton and then also playing games with the Eagles defense. I believe it.
See, but I'm not even trying to be funny because, dude has played – he's played like 80-something games as a starter in the league. So, he's not like a total bum or anything. But sometimes, it goes back to when I say coaches in professional leagues sometimes outthink themselves. Mm-hmm. How much is Kyle Orton bringing to the table that's unique that you have to be we got to prepare for two guys? I think if you're prepared for Tony Romo, then you're damn sure prepared for Kyle Orton. Like, what is he going to do that Romo can't do? Like, people always outthink themselves, man. What is he going to do that Romo can't do?
It's the number of plays because they're going to run a super vanilla.
With Orton, you're going to have to prepare more for the running game with Orton. But still, like, if you're prepared, you're prepared.
Orton comes in.
If we were going to beat Tony, if they were going to beat Tony Romo, then that same game plan would beat Kyle Orton.
It's very simple, man. When Orton comes in, send the house, man. Word to Jim Johnson. When Orton comes in, send the house.
Actually, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the spirit of Jim Johnson is creeping back in with Bill Davis. The Eagles are blitzing on like 35% of their defensive plays now.
Yeah,
they're coming back.
They send them. They definitely send them. Kyle Orton's arm strength. I also like the point of Kyle Orton's arm strength.
Made the same point that y'all made about the running game. They said if Orton goes, then they will have to run the ball. And the funny thing is, I don't even know if I agree with that. Y'all coach is out of control. He might still not run the ball.
You're right.
This is that thing, though. DeMarco Murray has been getting praised by everybody all season because they don't run the ball enough. Wait till you put the pressure on him, and he got to run the ball. He probably going to be coughing it up. He runs out of bounds more than a running back should. Like Bielsa was talking earlier, like what would Jim Brown do? Like he would not dig the way this dude plays. But I think if more pressure goes on the dude, I think he might He might probably get hurt too. He's a little injury prone.
Yeah.
What do you say,
you know how I say that? You know how I say that DeMarco can only run in like 400-yard increments before he gets hurt for 3 to 5 games.
Oh yeah. How many he got between his last injury? Is it time?
No, I think he's probably got like 600-700. He has about 600 since his last injury.
So he's due.
Yeah.
And
here's the thing, though.
And by all accounts, he might get a bigger workload. So yeah.
I want y'all to go back and look at this, man. What I'm getting ready to tell you is not a joke. It's serious, yo. DeMarco Murray started the season off a little slow. Once he grew a beard, he started playing like a real man. And that's not a joke.
I mean,
that's real.
No, that's not a joke. I mean, we all part of the beard gang. I mean,
once everybody on our webcast got beard, we got more views. Frank, Andy, everybody getting beards. Views went up. The beard game.
Now, speaking to the game and the game plan.
Yeah, let's get into the game.
Here's how I see that this panning out. So Kyle Orton starts. You're going to get a heavy dose of DeMarco Murray. Not even knocking him. Let's say that he has a successful game, whatever. The Eagles
not going to be enough to control it.
The Eagles' offense is explosive enough to where how do they score points and keep pace with an offense that's going to put up those type of points if you're playing a ball control strategy?
So basically what you're saying is even if that's their game plan, they're going to be forced out of that at some point.
Right.
Because it's going to, it is difficult to play ball control against the Eagles. Even if you're a better team than them, it's difficult to play ball control because they score in 4 or 5 plays sometimes, and the pace is so fast. You got to do a little something. I mean, if you're playing ball control, you have to do it. You have to be dominating the game because you have to score every time. Yeah, I'm saying like if you're gonna try to run the ball, like you have to be dominating that team so much that you have to score every time you sustain a drive and get down there. You can't just run the clock out and not score against this team.
And the Cowboys secondary, I don't even know what to say about those dudes. Like I don't know.
It might be the worst in history.
I know.
Listen, man.
Chip Kelly gonna try to make that happen this week. But they're gonna get a big dose of the running game.
I hope we don't.
Cowboys will win this game.
I hope the Eagles don't overthink it and overpass because they're facing the historically the worst secondary in the world. Like I hope we don't overpass and forget to utilize a balanced attack.
You know what? And I really don't have a big enough sample size to make this an adamant point, but it doesn't seem, and he's probably not because he's also a young coach in the NFL. It seems like Chip Kelly isn't that stubborn. I think after he makes a mistake, you know what I'm saying, he knows, okay, next time we can't do that. I think after the Minnesota game and LaShawn McCoy got 8 carries, I think he realized he made a mistake, and he went out there last week and they ran the ball pretty effectively, and they stuck to it. They had a big balance in the last game. Andy's had so much success in the past doing it the way he does it. It's kind of natural to build up a certain amount of stubbornness, and it kind of stubborned him out of town, but he's doing well.
He was
where he is right now.
Stubborn enough to stick with a bad quarterback for a decade. The other thing that's interesting on the other side of the ball, the whole Tony Romo thing wouldn't even be a story, obviously, if he was healthy. The bigger story would be Sean Lee being out of the game. That's their signal caller, and on the low, on the humble, he's a top 5 middle linebacker in the league. He's a different thing. So him being out of the game.
And this is the thing. If you listen, B. Austin, to everything that we've been saying, it just seems like it's set up for the Cowboys to go out there and lay an egg, which means, in Philly terms, it's set up for the Eagles to lose. When the other team is set up to be terrible, this is when the Eagles go in there and lay an egg. The only reason as a fan that I feel a little bit of optimism about this one, I don't get into the optimism thing when it comes to the Eagles. The only reason I feel a little bit is because of, some of those major names. First of all, like you said, the secondary is already terrible no matter who they have or don't have. Sean Lee is a big piece. He's important. Of course, Romo's a big point because he's important because you guys know I don't feel about Tony Romo like, everybody else feels about Tony Romo. I think he gets a bum rap. I think he's way better than people give him credit for. And I actually think the people who follow that sentiment, I think deep down they feel the same way because did you guys see the reaction everywhere when Romo got hurt? Everybody talks about the dude like he's just trash truck juice.
Garbage.
But as soon as he got hurt, fans that have no bearings in this game, no rooting interest, are texting me, telling me, congratulations, your team is going to win the division, Romo's hurt. Eagles fans started celebrating like they were, at a Prince concert, 1999. Like, they were so confident. I'm like, well, wait, if y'all thought this dude was trash, then this is the way you should have been feeling anyway. So now that he goes down, everybody's celebrating as if, Joe Montana just went down. But at the same time, y'all said this dude was probably going to blow the game anyway. So I don't really get that. I don't really get that.
I'm going to join you. I'm not going to belabor the point. All I'm going to say is this: Nick Foles, notwithstanding this season, over the last half decade, Tony Romo is the best QB in the NFC East.
That ain't hard to be in here, but still.
I still think. Tony Romo's somewhere in the top 10 of NFL quarterbacks now, whether people want to really admit that or not. And the data shows that he's even a little better in the, quote-unquote clutch situations. It just seems, I ain't going to front, it does seem like, when you're watching the dude, especially after you've made all these arguments for him, he go out there and do something stupid and make you look bad. So I'm definitely, I'm going to tell people how I feel, but I'm definitely done defending him. I used to actually defend the dude. I'm not defending him.
The problem is the Cowboys have always been so overrated in other areas of their team, and they put so much on this undrafted dude's shoulders for him to carry that team that the pressure at this point is just mounted and it's come to fruition. It's herniated his back.
So listen, even right now, Skyview is in the chat room right now saying Romo's trying to get out of that L. See, that's the thing. Like when somebody, the perception, it just creeps in and people just follow that sentiment. Akil just talked about it a few minutes ago. Romo ain't never been one to shy away. You can't say that the dude's not tough. He's played with broken ribs, punctured lungs, all kinds of stuff like that. So like when you see stuff like that, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, people just say stuff because they want to say stuff, but Romo has never been the type of dude.
To me, I don't defend him because I don't feel sorry for him. You Dallas quarterback, that comes with that territory. When you win, you get overrated, and when you lose, guess what? You're going to take the brunt of that as well. That comes with being quote unquote America's team's quarterback.
America's team.
This is more than brunt though. His thing is more than brunt though, because a lot of people will refuse to
like
admit that he's a good quarterback.
Like you just said, every time he's on national TV in a big spot, this is what he does. Like he made statistically.
See, but Jim, I don't think it's every time.
Good fourth quarter wise.
I don't think it's every time though. I just think when he does good stuff, people just move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
nobody says anything about it. Tony Romo has a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. But for him,
he does. But what I'm saying is,
because of the perception for him, Jimmy, a big game to the people who's critiquing him, a big game isn't until the next game. If he does good, then that's no longer a big game. Like last week,
I understand that, but what I'm talking about, when I think
had he lost that game, people would have been like, big game, they needed that game. He lost. He did what he did, and you hear nothing about it. It's no longer a big game.
But what I'm saying
immediately the Eagles game became the big game. That's how they do him.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that didn't come out of nowhere. That wasn't just put on because he's Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't just pick him out of a hat and say, okay, now we're just going to be hard on him. He's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, everybody hates the Cowboys.
Of course.
And that's what I think. And you know, to me, Jim, that's what I always say.
That's what goes with that.
I think
but the thing is, I know that
overrated
when
every
year. It's time to play in the playoffs or a game to get in the playoffs, like that Redskins game when he threw the dumbest pass I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what he does.
He did. That particular game. He
played
point
out one. Definitely.
Peyton, Brady,
but
they all do it. Peyton, Brady, they all do it. The same weeks that Romo threw his 2 picks, Brady threw picks to the both weeks against the Bengals and against the Dolphins, and nobody said anything.
Well, Brady got 3 rings. Joe, rings excuse you from. Brett Favre won a ring and threw a pick damn near every 2 passes the rest of his career. And got an excuse made for him. Once you win a championship, like you got a built-in, nothing else matters. Like a championship excuse you for mediocrity for the rest of your career.
Let me also say, when y'all played, when Denver played the Cowboys, Tony Romo played a masterful game, and it's kind of like you're comparing him play for play, position for position with Peyton Manning. And that's the position that Tony Romo gets put into, but he never has the tools that a Peyton Manning has. Now, I'm not nowhere near saying that Tony Romo is the equivalent of Peyton Manning. But
when you say tools, what do you mean by tools?
I would say organization.
Oh, you talking about receivers?
Because people look at Romo, all they want to do is name. Like, he got Dez, he got Witten, but, what about, defense? What about offensive line?
No, I understand that, but I was thinking stuff that really if that's the case, I wish I could watch Dez Bryant play with Brady or Witten play with Brady. That's neither here nor there. Here's what I want to ask you guys. Casey Mack is actually saying in our chat room that the Cowboys will win this game. And as Eagles fans, what do you want to say to Casey Mack? He says they're going to win this game because the Cowboys shut the Eagles down the first time. They're going to do it again.
I think that's fan talk, and I think if what you're going to base it off of, no, seriously, if what you're going to base it off of is the last time they played, there were a lot of circumstances surrounding that game that people didn't. The Eagles was on their Belichick trying to keep Foles off of the injury report. He went into that game with a bad groin and then left the game with a concussion. So I wouldn't put too much stock in what happened that game. There's not a lot of teams, and this is not fan speak for me. But there's not a lot of teams that's going to hold that offense to 3 points that game. So I really wouldn't base my prediction off of that. Now,
listen though, Casey Mack is saying, and don't base the Eagles winning off of this past Sunday night either.
But who did he hear do that though? We just saw him base it off of an old game.
Right, here's my question, though.
He's arguing with himself right now, Jimmy, because he didn't hear anybody say that.
Hold on, because we got a call. We got a call on the line. But here's my thing, though. Casey Mack is weird because I'm trying to get some more grub sent up. Casey Mack, you in Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
Barbecue.
What kind of food they got out there, yo?
Yo, we might not have time to take that, Jim, because we got to get that. You know what I mean?
Let's just ask him a question. He's been holding for a while. Let's just ask Rob.
I want to insult Casey Mack because I'm going to just say, Casey Mack, you're supposed to be a member of the media and have some lens of objectivity. Me personally, even as an Eagles fan, if I thought we had no chance, I would say, Dallas is going to cream us, and I hate it. But, you can't be real with yourself right now and say that you think Dallas is going to win this game.
Everything equal, Tony Romo not injured, I would probably lean towards picking Dallas in this game.
Yeah,
I probably would lean toward. I picked Dallas the first time they played. I would probably lean towards picking them. I picked Dallas to win this division. So, like I said, Casey Mack is on here in the chat room having an argument with himself because he didn't hear anybody say anything about Sunday night.
I picked Dallas to win.
I'm just saying, if you're sitting here and you're going into this game saying, we held them the 3 last time, so we good. That's not realistic in any second matchup. How many times have we seen 2 teams go at it and the second time the other team won because adjustments were made? Things happen during the season. Teams change. So you can't really base it on that. So
hold on real quick. Let's go for 1 second. Rob's calling from L.A. The Eagles fan out L.A. Rob, what you got this Saturday? This Sunday, rather?
Hey, just a comment towards BR. I don't understand how he said he didn't have anybody around him when he had 13 Pro Bowlers in 2007 on the Cowboys.
See, and that's why the Cowboys get overrated because they have that, and then people believe that.
You're talking about
something, and I don't care about Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. It matters in the clutch moment. Terry Bradshaw was not a good quarterback. Kyle Orton was better than Terry Bradshaw, but he would win Super Bowls. Come on, man.
But how many people did he win any Super Bowls by himself? Terry Bradshaw never won a Super Bowl by himself. I saw a lot of people out there. He had one of the greatest defenses in NFL history.
This argument go back and forth forever.
Come on.
I mean, this argument go back and forth forever. There's something to be said about both sides of that. But Rob, real quick, because we ain't got that much time.
Well, Rob just made our point, though, Jimmy. We said they were overrated. That's why they're overrated, because they make Pro Bowls. They're not that good.
Yeah. What's your prediction for the game, Rob?
My prediction is the Eagles must win this game, or else the long off season.
I didn't say that they must win. Who do you think is going to win? Give me a score. Give me a prediction,
Eagles
Rob.
versus Cowboys. It's the North versus the South. It is on, man.
What's your prediction, though?
What's the final score?
What's the final score?
The final score will be will be on a defensive play, 35 to 38.
Dang. Who? You think Kyle Orton gonna put up 38?
The Cowboys have the second most highest scoring team in the league. I mean,
with Romo, not with Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton.
Yo, who's gonna win the game, though, yo?
The thing about Kyle Orton is this: Kyle Orton has always been a picker, but he never had a good team.
Yo, who did he pick though?
Huh?
No, he said the Eagles 38 something. He picked the
Eagles 38, Cowboys 35.
Eagles
on a defensive play.
Eagles
on a defensive play.
A defensive play will be a game changer. It will be a game changer.
All right, no doubt. Rob, man, thanks for the call,
6.
man. We going to hold you to 38-35, so call back in next week so we can talk about what happened.
All right, go Lakers.
Let's go. All right, homie. Yo,
all right, we got to give a prediction. We didn't even look at it right. We're not going to get to the Aaron Rodgers and the Bears and everything, so make sure you go to our War Room Sports TV. Yeah, no, go to War Room Sports TV later in the week. Probably on like Saturday morning, and we'll talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears and their cause nobody in the NFC has actually clinched the division yet. So all coming down to the last week. But let's give our predictions on this particular game.
My prediction is it's a North
Merry
versus
Christmas
South
to you too, KC Matt. Merry Christmas. Yo,
my prediction is a good game.
I don't want KC Mack or anybody thinking I'm doing the homer thing, because if you listen long enough and follow our work, you know I don't do that. Like, I've picked against the Eagles so many times this season. Picked them to finish fighting for last with the Washington Redskins for the division this season. So everything that's happening right now is a plus and a surprise for me. But not, Chicago game withstanding, because I'm one of those superstitious people that think, all right, they probably should have slowed down against the Bears and saved some of that for last week, even though that probably makes no damn sense. It makes no difference in the big scheme. I still think that. So it has nothing to do with that, but I just think Dallas has too many problems right now. I don't see Kyle Orton coming in and lighting it up, the way he probably needs to stay with this team. I don't know. I think they're going to get a big dose of LaShawn McCoy. And it's going to be the LaShawn versus DeMarco game going on, and whoever defense plays well. And by all accounts, the Eagles' defense has been improving with the little stumble against Minnesota. Dallas's defense is on record
that wasn't a little stumble.
Set records in a negative way. So I'm going to pick the Eagles in this game, especially if Romo doesn't play. I'm going to pick the Eagles in this game. I'll call it 31-20. Now, like I said, everything is pointing in their direction, so that means the Eagles probably will lose. But I'm gonna pick them 31-20.
I'll be quick. 34-14. Eagles win. And if Romo was gonna play, I would say 45 to 30 if Romo played.
Same way you.
Yeah, Eagles.
They have that happens sometimes when they play for the last week of the season. The Eagles got a couple blowouts in that situation.
I think it's going to be a blowout. I think that Nick Montana is going to come to play. The score of the game is going to be like 49-17. Yo, 49-17 Eagles.
Hurry up,
49-17.
We got like 2 seconds.
Jimmy is a believer, yo. Jimmy believes.
Hurry up, we got like 2.
Nick Foles. I definitely believe in Nick Foles, yo.
Come on.
35-24 Eagles. 3 touchdowns and a field goal for Dallas.
All right, no doubt, man. Let's get out of here, man. Thanks for joining us again in the War Room, good folks. Shout out to everybody
Orton
in the chat room,
Obama.
those on Facebook, Twitter. All the callers who chimed in to holler at us, those we couldn't get to, we apologize, but we will be right back here next week. Also, special shout out to the homie Fred Perdue of Heavy in the Games for the college football talk. Tune in next week, same time, same place, for another episode of your favorite show. We'll discuss some of our favorite moments from 2013, as 2014 will be beginning by then. So until then, enjoy your sports week, the rest of the holiday season. We'll catch you right back here next time, next year. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook and Twitter. Both are at War Room Sports. Go to warroomsportstv.com for all of our video content. Expect bigger and better things from War Room Sports in 2014. Gentlemen, this is 180 episodes in the can, 3 years plus, and we still won't stop. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
We lose to Orton, I'm going to run suicides on I-95. Peace.
Hi, Rihanna.
War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5